Now from Atlanta News First Plus, this is Sports Tonight.
Welcome into your Sports Tonight. Sports Director Bailey Burmaster alongside.
Now from Atlanta News
we got
First
more audio
Plus,
going on.
this is Sports Tonight.
Yeah, we love that Sports Tonight open, don't we? We're just gonna
we
keep
really
looping
do.
it.
Hey, we really do.
The game, the decision to cut Jalen Hopkins.
We're going to try and figure that out because I can hear it.
Look, I'm very appreciative of everything Jalen
It's the press conference.
Jalen played some good football
Can you mute
for
the
us.
press conference? Technical
Love working
difficulties.
with him.
There we
Wish him
go.
best
Oh.
in-
Guys, it's Thursday, but it's kind of like a Monday.
Situations
Still
change.
hearing Arthur Smith right now.
And I got a lot of respect
Nope.
for Hawk.
I'm still
Jalen.
hearing
And so,
Arthur Smith right now.
There's decisions you make. Try to do the
We're
best
going to
interest of
try
your
and
team.
fix this. We'll be
All
right
parties
back.
Involved, and it's an opportunity, right, Micah? And, open up some
All right, let's try this again with no audio under us, hopefully. But that's technical difficulties for you. Bailey Burmaster alongside our sports photog, Lee
Hey, what's
Smith.
up?
We have some storylines we're going to get to. The big ones, we'll start here locally. The disconnect between Desmond Ritter and Arthur Smith seems to be a massive discussion topic. I don't know if I necessarily believe in it. But Lee, I'll start with you. What do you take away from? There's been articles that is there a disconnect? How are things going?
Look, that was a rough fourth quarter right there. They had plenty of chances to get some points, thanks to the defense, by the way. But just came up short again, and it miscues from timeouts to not getting the play in. I don't know if it's a offensive coordinator to the field, if he can't hear, if he's just doing his own thing, if it's an Arthur Smith thing, I don't know, and that's a huge problem to have, especially when you got a 2-minute offense and you have to go score points, and you have to go, and that was at home, by the way. Could you imagine on the road? Mm-hmm. So something's off, and it's got to get fixed because they can't afford to lose games like that the way they did.
Yeah, no, and I don't know if I believe there's a disconnect. I actually think there's probably decent communication between Desmond Ritter and Arthur Smith, and I think a lot of that is just the type of person Desmond Ritter is. He obviously wants to fix these mistakes, these interceptions that he's having, especially the ones late in the games, and I think Arthur Smith and Desmond Ritter have the relationship to be honest enough. I just don't think it's executing. I think it's the execution that's the issue, and whether that's Desmond Ritter's growing pains or just who he is as a quarterback remains to be seen. I think in the next 2 weeks are going to be the biggest times where we learn that.
I mean, he's only, 10 games in?
Yeah.
10 games in. So he's still got a lot to learn. So this is really, I guess, cumulatively his first season still. So stuff like this is going to happen. Unfortunately, it cost him a game. And these are rare and, few and in between. You can't be doing that. And, he even said yesterday in the press conference that he kind of went rogue a little bit doing his own thing. And he said if he would have stayed within the system, there probably would have been a different outcome, and he probably wouldn't have thrown the interception. So when you hear stuff like that, it's not really that encouraging, knowing that he did the wrong thing before it happened, and it could have had a different outcome.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to tune into what Arthur Smith had to say in his press conference earlier. Hopefully that sound will play for you. Let's see if we can get it going.
We cut Jalen Hopkins.
Yeah, like a lot of it, look, I'm very appreciative of everything Jalen did. Jalen played some good football for us. Loved working with him. Wish him best in the future. Sometimes situations change, and I got a lot of respect for Hawk, Jalen. And so there's decisions you make. Try to do in the best interest for the team and for all parties involved. And it's an opportunity, right, Micah, and open up some opportunities. Josh Miles also got an opportunity. The Giants signed him to their active. He was on our practice squad, so happy for Josh there. That's the way it goes, but it's an opportunity for other guys.
And looked like Helms moved ahead of him, and Michael filled the help.
Yeah, just look. Like I said, you try to do what's best for the team. You're not going to be perfect, but they're well thought out. And like I said, things change all the time in this league. And Jalen's one of the good guys in this league, and like I said, I can't say enough good things about him. Circumstances change, so there's opportunity for other guys. D-Lud.
And yeah, just 5 games into this season, 5 from last, kind of the 10-game mark. How comfortable are you all with Desmond and that y'all can, get this rash of interceptions here eradicated from this game?
Sure. I think you look around the history of this league and you go back to patterns. Obviously, they happen, and you have to acknowledge. I think, we talked about the other day, I think you don't want to sugarcoat anything, but you got to learn from your mistakes too. And, those are things, it's a tough position. We got that. And we got to eliminate those. It hasn't been a major pattern. Go back to last year, the 4 starts, didn't turn the ball over. Obviously, 2 out of the last 3 games, they've happened. But it's happened to a lot of quarterbacks. The thing is, you got to fix it. It can't become a trend. Then you got to have an even bigger problem. But like I said, there's a lot of good things doing. It's like a lot of things in this league. 90% could be good, but if you've got 10% of some critical errors, and if you really look at our 3 losses, especially last week, that's happened. So you are what you are, right? So there's a reason we're 3-3. The good news is a lot of football left, and there's a huge game coming up for us down in Tampa in a divisional game. We need to go down there and win. So that's where we're at. But there is progress, but we have to eliminate those critical errors in all 3 phases, right? Play here or there, and it's everybody's taking turns. And like I said, you can cut the numbers up however you want, but ultimately, at the end of the day, you lose a game and you make those critical errors, you got to get it fixed.
You mentioned Dave basketball parts and all. Did he come and ask for his release?
We have ongoing conversations. There's no specific aha moment, Mike. You just make decisions. You try to let the best thing for the team guide you, and obviously we try to make sure we do everything with full transparency and have conversations. And like I said, I got a lot of respect for Hawk. Things change, right? So roles change. And you try to do what's best for the team.
What has Drake given you guys over the last few weeks, and maybe is even at a different level compared with before?
Those are subjective terms. They're just like all of us. Start myself. You look in the mirror every day and see what you can do to get better. And I think he tries to do that. And like I said, he's made some big catches lately. There's some other things that he's working to improve, as we all are.
Hey, Arthur, what do you have to change when it comes to the game management in crunch time? Those situations.
Which one, like the Houston one?
The other day where you get down to the play clock running out.
Yeah, they're all different things. So you want to cut it up. Let's look about 2,000 plays the last 2 years, and you look about, let's just go rough estimate, 360 if you call it rough estimate, 60 in every game. So those 3 things happen. They all are different, but I wouldn't call that some catastrophic trend. Now, they shouldn't have happened, but they're all different why they happen. And like I said, we identify the problem, but you take 3 plays out of 2,360, Got it. They shouldn't have happened.
At that time, though.
Well, sure, but again, we can play this game all day. Well, what about Houston? What about New York? We won a lot of games handling situations. Obviously, we didn't do it last week. We got to get it fixed. But this isn't some like trend runaway story. Acknowledge what happened, fix it. But if there had been some problem, or that's what I'm saying. It's just like it's riding the roller coaster of, okay, those three things happen. That's not the only reason we lost the game. That's, what I mean? Like you turned the ball over 3 times. I said the other day, the percentage of winning right now in the league, year over year, it's about the same. But this year, it's 6% chance if you turn the ball over 3 times, -3. You can also throw the punt return in there. Probably give you about 4 turnovers. They're hard to win. Like I said, you can do a lot of good things, but you can eliminate that. Look, the operational thing, they're all 3 different. So you identify them, you fix them. But I'm not going to sit here and say that, recently biased that, running around like this is some huge problem and whatever. Like, it shouldn't happen. We got to fix them. If something continues to happen, obviously things, you got to change things up. And we look to do it every week, even when you win. But that's just the math and the reality situation. You go back to Houston, those guys executed pretty damn good. Yeah, in the other games we've won close, that we've managed the clock and walked off and not put our kickoff team back out there and done things like that. We haven't been perfect. We know that. But I will say this. Our guys have operated pretty damn good in some crunch situations. It can always be a lot better. Last week, got to fix it.
You spoke Sunday of trying to evolve on offense, and you plan to continue to try to evolve. And getting back to what you just said about Ritter's not having the turnovers early in his time as a starter, obviously there's a mirroring of those turnovers going up as you've tried to add more emphasis.
Yeah, you can add it, those are good questions, but I mean, you can add it a lot of different ways, right? You can talk to some really, really old coaches, and they say, hey, more times you put the ball in there, more chances of bad things to happen. I got it. We have thrown the ball more lately, but that's, again, guys got to make a play here and there. It's the self-inflicted stuff that you can control that you've got to eliminate, and they're all different. We just can't let it become a pattern. It cannot trend against state. There's a lot of really good things going on, but again, it's 90% is good, and you screw up 10%, you lose a game. Even if we even won a game, say we had found a way to win that game, there's things you got to fix. But there is progress being made. There's some big-time throws being made. Again, it's got to be like all of us. I was always going to start with myself. I think you take every game, you look at yourself, and you have to have that mindset. What can I do to get better? That's what it comes down to. But there is a lot of positives, and we've got to fix those things that right now that have costed us. Certainly cost us.
All right, we are back here on Sports Tonight. Arthur Smith wrapping
Now
up there.
from Atlanta
we're
News
having
First
audio issues
Plus,
again.
this is Sports Tonight.
Try and take care of that. Okay, I think I got it. I think we fixed it. For now, anyway. So we're going to move to our NFL storylines for this week. Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson throwing at practice on Thursday for the first time since September 22nd. He hasn't had a full practice because of a rotator cuff strain to his right throwing shoulder. PJ Walker had to play for him last week.
Yeah.
They were able to beat the 49ers. So that was a big win for them.
Hey, that's a good win right there.
But what do you make of this whole Deshaun Watson thing? Obviously, Scott and I have talked in depth about it. He's a big Browns fan. But you pay him all this money. Now he's hurt. Obviously, you don't want to throw him out there when he's injured, but not ideal.
It's a pretty bad debacle. You leverage your entire future as a team on one dude, and then it doesn't work out. Probably not the business model to adapt. I mean, it seems crazy to me. I mean, okay, maybe if he's like, a Hall of Fame caliber guy, and he has had, for sure, when he was with the Texans, he has awesome seasons. I just don't know, man. That's especially because you get hurt. You're going to get hurt as a quarterback. It's just how bad and for how long you're going to be out. Yeah, well, guess what? He was.
Well, he's their long-term investment, too. So, obviously, you want him healthy, and a rotator cuff is never good.
Not for a quarterback.
But I think it's also a tough scene if you're Kevin Stefanski, who's going into a year where you have to find success and you have to make the playoffs. Who knows what will happen there? But it's still up in the air whether he plays Sunday against
especially
the Colts.
no Nick Chubb anymore this
Nick
season.
Chubb. Apparently, I did see a report from ESPN's Jake Trotter that said Chubb has started working out, doing upper body stuff. He still has to have the second surgery for that ACL.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of damage in there, so he has to get a second surgery. But he's already working back towards trying to stay in shape and get back for the Browns. You hate to see him go down.
Yep.
Let's talk about our next subject, Davante Adams and the Raiders. Adams is not too thrilled with his production on offense. I'm going to read you the quote. So he's coming off 2 catches with the win over the Patriots. He's growing frustrated with his diminished role. This is the quote. I'm a human being and I have extremely high standards for myself in this offense. Then he goes on to say, I'm sure people are thinking, they won the game, well, why is there an issue? I mean, I see why it's an issue. Y'all should know who I am and know what I'm about at this point. When you're a player like me, mentally, my benchmark is not wins and losses. It's greatness. So when I go out there, I expect to be able to have the ability to put that on tape and have an influence on the game. That's my purpose of being here. I'm not here to just hang out. I came here to win and do it the right way. Adams has not had a touchdown since week 3 in their loss against the Steelers when he was targeted 20 times, had 13 catches for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns. Lee, what's going on with Davante?
I don't know. But come on, saying that wins aren't enough, that you have to be great on top of that. Okay, maybe you can internalize that and keep it in your head, but you can't come out and say that. Come on, dude. I get it. You are great. You have been great for a long time. But come on, it's all about winning. Like at the end of the day.
It is. And as someone who's covered Davante, reading that, I was a little like, oh, wow, that's not like him. So I would like to actually hear the soundbite of it to feel his energy and the demeanor, because I do think that plays into everything. But also, he's probably so frustrated. He went to the Raiders to play with Derek Carr. The Raiders got rid of Derek Carr. They were over him. And he's going, well, I just signed here to play with him, not anyone else. And now you get Jimmy G, who's not a bad quarterback, but not a good quarterback. And you have to understand, Adams is coming off playing with
Aaron Rodgers.
Correct.
Hall of Famer. First ballot Hall of Famer.
You know, there's no bad blood between Davante and Aaron, supposedly. But the reality is I think Rodgers told Davante, I don't know how much longer I'm going to play. It could be a year. It could be 2 years. It may not even be with this team. Yeah. So if you're signing long-term with this team, do you really want to play with Jordan Love? And Adams is probably going, you know what? I got to do what's best for me. And unfortunately, I don't think this is the team. I hope he gets traded. And I'm going to ask you what team you think he should get traded to. For me...
Ooh, okay.
I think if Davante Adams goes to the Buffalo Bills, they are all of a sudden a top team.
Okay, well, how are they going to be able to pull that off, though?
I don't even care. It doesn't have to make sense. I'm a woman.
Well,
I act in Delulu.
Salary cap
okay,
says
I act in Delulu.
It does
land.
have to make sense.
I act in Delulu land. I just want, like seeing Davante Adams in a Buffalo Bills jersey. Tell me that wouldn't like just hit.
I mean, well, might as well just say, "Oh, I wish he was with the Falcons." Okay, cool. Let's go.
No, if he doesn't listen, if he's struggling to play with Jimmy G, you think he's gonna want to play with Desmond Ritter or Taylor Heineke or whoever ends up being the quarterback?
No.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
And it's not.
It would be cool to see him in a Falcons jersey. I don't know. How about craziness? What if he could somehow go to the Chiefs?
No
like,
way.
What if?
Can you imagine Mahomes and Davante?
No, I can't. Because that would be too much.
I
think
it wouldn't even
be fair.
I might have to like quit my job here and somehow just go to Kansas City to watch football games. Like, come on now. Like that is just like I can't even fathom that happening.
Is that a job where you can just go watch Kansas City football?
I'm gonna find a single man who has season tickets. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna put my dreams on hold so I can watch Patrick Mahomes and Davante Adams go to work. All right, this is getting out of hand. Let's keep it.
That's fantastic.
Right. Yeah, so let's go to Georgia State football. They are off to their best start in school history. They're sitting at 5-1. Sean Elliott doing some serious things over there, Lee.
Look, anytime you can start like this, you just really hope that you can keep going and end like this. because it's just cool to see a team that's like 2 seconds down the road from our station and is having this much success, especially when I think they were 2010 was their first year as a program ever. All right, so 13 years. Well, really 12 plus this season. So that's crazy.
And they're facing Louisiana, who's not an easy team.
No.
On the road. 8
No,
p.m.
but
kick.
Look, the way Darren Granger's looking, I think they got a chance to really surprise a lot of people.
I do too. We were able to catch up with Sean Elliott. Hopefully, I can get this sound to work. Let's see. I'm gonna give it a little
Dun
go.
dun dun.
And what you guys are, and the difference from where you guys were at this time last year to where you are right now.
Yeah, the difference is the mindset of our players and our coaches and everybody involved in our football program. We had to do some different things. We had to get some different people in here. We had to get the right people on the bus, and they're doing a phenomenal job. Our season it's always really dictated by our players. They make us go. Certainly we as coaches have a little bit of input on it, but ultimately it's because of the attitude and the effort and the enthusiasm that our players have, and we've got a great bunch out there. I'm very proud of them. It's really, in coaching, you always have an opinion of your team, of course. This team is really unlike any that I've ever been around. I have so much enjoyment just talking with these guys. I mean, we meet pretty early in the mornings. We have early practices, and we don't have a bunch of people dragging their heads around here. They're always energetic, ready to go, and it's just a really good time that we're having. I wish all of us could experience this every single year as coaches, but we certainly don't. But it's those men in that room that are making the difference.
And as a coach, when you have that sort of chemistry off the field, and you have those guys who are totally buying in, how much easier does that make that to win come Saturday?
Well, I think it's just that everybody trusts one another to get their job done. They trust us as coaches. I trust them as players. When I see the attitude and the efforts and the things that they've gone through to get where we are right now, then it makes it so much easier to go out there and know I can call this play, and they're going to give it. They're going to know exactly what they're going to do, how they're going to execute it, and it's going to be successful. And I feel like that on every call we make, offensively, defensively, and special teams, just because I know the players that are out there executing it, and that's a huge deal for a coach standing on that sideline to know that the extension of him is out there and they're doing the things necessary to be successful.
So when you think about the team and where you guys are at right now, obviously when you start to win and get attention, people start to take notice. Sometimes a team can lose focus. What are kind of you as a veteran leader, what kind of steps are you taking to make sure that doesn't?
We got to stay humble. You got to come to practice each and every day and put in the work. That's what's got us here to this 5-1 start. Coming to practice, putting in the work, having great energy. So we just got to keep that going. We can't lose focus because, we got a tough conference, and you lose focus for 1 second and you beat down by a team. So, just keep staying humble and, keeping that focus go keep this momentum going.
And something else that's definitely, I'm sure, is motivation this week is you're facing a team that you guys have never beat before. Coach kind of hit on that and said, look, you shouldn't need any more motivation than that heading into a game like this. What are your thoughts about that?
It's a lot of firsts for us this year. First best start, first, undefeated start or 1-loss start. It's a lot of firsts for us. So this is another first that we could go get. And, this is a big game. Louisiana Lafayette, they're a good team. And we got to go out there and play. We're 0-6. I'm 0-1 personally. So we got to go out there and get a first W against those guys.
All right, so we will see how they fare against
Now,
Louisiana.
from Atlanta News
Oh,
First
we just
Plus.
love more sound. Live TV, gotta love it. All right, we're gonna gloss over the Hawks. They wrap up the preseason. They will have their first game on the road Wednesday, and then the home opener is against the Knicks Friday, not this Friday, next Friday. They beat the Cavs by 1, beat the Grizzlies by 1. Beat the Pelicans by 5. Then they were beat by the Pacers. They wrap up tonight against the 76ers. So obviously basketball season right around the corner. Any hot takes for basketball season? Or too early?
Hot take. They better make it to at least the Eastern Conference Finals. How about that? There's your hot take.
I don't think that's going to happen.
There's your hot take.
Is that my hot take that I don't think that happens?
No. That's a very good take that it doesn't happen.
At best, they make it out of the first round.
Yeah.
at
I mean, that's
best.
that's what I think will happen. But who knows? Maybe they can at least win 2 rounds. We'll see.
Time will tell.
As long as they're not in the play-in game again, that's bad.
No, yeah,
That's
you don't
bad.
want to.
You're the
you
playing
don't want to do
series.
that again. You don't want to do that. Okay, we'd love to wrap up here with what is on your mind. I will start, and then I will give you the floor, Lee.
Fantastic.
So obviously the Braves lost to the Phillies in the NLDS. The NLCS now going on between the Phillies and the Diamondbacks. The Phillies are up 2-0 tonight, Game 3 in Arizona. And I just have to commend Phillies fans for the level of pettiness they have. They have been buying super expensive tickets in Arizona to not even go, but to just make sure it's not sold out. Like, it's sold out, but the seats aren't filled.
But it's not Diamondbacks fans in the seats.
Correct. Just
Yeah.
to try and get a win on the road. I
That's awesome.
I love that. I aspire to be that level of pettiness. Unfortunately, I don't have the funds to constantly do that for all the teams I
saw a guy
support.
on Twitter said, just bought 15 tickets. Hey, Philly fans, if you want to go, it's free of charge, but I'll be taking donations if you feel so inclined.
Amazing.
Who does that?
Who
does that?
Phillies fans. Phillies fans.
That's awesome.
Also, can we just talk about the Phillies for a second? Dude, they are just hitting bomb
Everything. They're hitting everything.
after bomb.
They're literally hitting everything.
after bomb.
Yeah.
Just home run city. It is stupid.
Yeah. Well, that's what the Braves were up against.
Casty is just going crazy too. He went crazy against the Braves and keeps it going against the Diamondbacks. So
Good pitching beats good hitting, right? Is that the old adage?
let's not talk about it. All right, what's on your mind tonight?
All right, well then I'll go with the other series. Astros Rangers. Astros tied it up not tied up. They got the first game, their first win on the series. So Rangers still up 2-1 in the series. They play tonight. Game 4 is tonight. So if they could even up that series, that's a big step for them.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think they could take it in 7 if they win tonight. If they lose tonight, I think they're done. But the Rangers, though, that's a surprise to me too.
No, I was gonna say I don't think anyone expected the Rangers to be here.
They very just under the radar, just snuck up on people. I mean, they were good all year, but it was well, we still have the Orioles in the American League, and then it's we have the Braves in the National League and the Dodgers, and then of course when they all lost, boom, then you pay attention to the Rangers, and you're like, oh, dude, they're stacked.
Yeah, the third
They're
baseman,
stacked.
Josh Young, had a home run last night, I believe. And I covered him at Texas Tech, and he was always legit. You knew he was going places. And Texas boy, awesome when he gets to stay home and be with the Rangers. But who do you think gets out of this series? Is it Rangers or Astros? It's a total toss-up, I feel like.
My heart says Rangers. My head says Astros.
Right? I'm with you. I would like to see the Rangers win.
You can't leave the Astros
But the
in the series.
Astros are the Astros.
You can't leave. Dude, they've been the best team overall the last 10 years. They've been the best franchise.
Yeah.
And it hasn't really been close.
So you can't overlook them in the slightest at all. I do want to give an honorable mention for something we need to discuss. Maybe we can get into this more tomorrow.
Okay.
Decision day, the final day of the regular season for MLS, Atlanta United, facing Cincinnati, I believe, this Friday. A lot of implications on there. I think they can finish as high as 5 or they can finish as low as 7. There's a lot of breakdowns of what that will flow into. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit tomorrow. But Atlanta United should be in the playoffs, obviously, if they are that 7-8. They could play Wednesday, Thursday.
And possibly the best thing for them is that Cincinnati has already locked up the Supporters Shield, so they're already top team.
They might rest.
They might rest some players, and Atlanta might have an easy 3 points.
For sure.
We'll see.
All right, that does it for this edition for Sports Tonight. For Lee Smith, I'm Bailey Burmaster. Obviously, you can continue to check us out right here every night, but also on podcast form as well. Make sure to tune in. We got one more for you coming up tomorrow.
See ya.
Have a great night.